Buenas noches, Las Vegas. ¿Cómo está? My name is Chris Garcia. I am the conservative American, the one and only. You will always get a conservative point of view on my show. I'm doing an intro show right now to tell you a little bit about myself. I've already done a few shows, and I'm sure you all out there on the internet, I'm getting a lot of positive responses back. Thank you so much for listening to me and watching my show. We are doing big things here in the beautiful Las Vegas Tribune facilities. We are using Radio Tribune facilities to do this show. And I want to take this time to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Christian Guillermo Garcia. I was raised on the south side of Chicago. My mother is from Santiago, Cuba, and my father is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to school in the south side of Chicago, elementary school at St. Albee. I went on to Brother Rice High School in Chicago, and then I went to UNLV undergraduate, and then I got my master's degree at DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois, in the School of Economics. I worked as a trader for a couple of years in Chicago. I was a futures trader at the Chicago Board of Trade, and that's a little bit about my background. My wife is Cian Garcia, who is the wonderful producer here, and is the co-owner of my business, Mail by Renee, that we run together. I have 6 beautiful children, and I have a young baby, and his name is Jordan. Hello, Jordan. I love you very much. And I'm extremely happy. I've done well in my life. God has blessed me very well. I've had ups and downs like everybody else, but I have a wonderful family and wonderful friends, a wonderful wife, and a wonderful supporting cast. I am blessed so much that the owner of the Las Vegas Tribune, Rolando LaRosse, the great, legendary Rolando LaRosse, began to invite me on his show, Face the Tribune, which comes on 12 to 1 o'clock, live streaming on Radio Tribune, and you can catch our shows on YouTube later. But he comes on from 12 to 1 o'clock Pacific time, and he began to invite me on his show as a co-host because Radio Tribune in Las Vegas Tribune is not far from my business, and he needed a new producer. The producer retired that used to be here, and he offered my wife the job of producing because she has a background in computer programming, and she's an absolute CN, is a wonderful producer. And he invited me on his show to begin to co-host. And I co-hosted, and he liked what I was doing on his show as a co-host and offered me my own show, which is, of course, Chris Garcia, the conservative American. I'm so blessed that he gave me that opportunity, and I'm going to make the most of it. I hope that you all watch my show. I will always give to you they call it the forgotten man, but I just call it American man, American men and women of this country, middle class, people that go to work every day, 9 to 5, are trying to put food on the table and take care of their children every day. That's the perspective that I come from because I am a small business owner with my wife, Cian, and every day we try and put food on the table and pay our bills, and things are expensive in this country, and it is hard to make ends meet. And so I know what that struggle is like, whether you work or you have a small business or whatever you're trying to do. If you live on a budget, if you get a Social Security, you get an income, whatever it is, we are all as Americans trying to make ends meet, and we're trying to battle higher taxes. We're trying to get rid of Obamacare, which is raising premiums crazy on most people, and we're just trying to survive every day. We're just trying to live. So that's a little bit of background about me. I enjoy playing sports, baseball and basketball. I boxed a lot when I was a young kid, and those are all of my interests. I'm really into politics. I've always been interested in politics, and as you can see behind me, I was a huge supporter of Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is going to do an outstanding job as president. I've always been a big supporter of his, me and my wife. My wife told me a long time ago, a year ago, that Donald Trump was going to win. I really hadn't looked at his candidacy or taken him serious. But my wife, who had a degree in computer programming, database analysis, worked years ago at Gateway, and they shipped all of her department's jobs overseas. And as she began to listen to Donald Trump and what he stood for and its importance about bringing jobs back to America. She turned to me and we were laying down and watching one of his rallies, and she said, he's going to be the next president because he speaks to me. And at that point, I began to take his candidacy seriously because my wife is an American. My wife is a true patriot. She is a very hard worker. She is a mother. She is a wife. She is a producer. She is a business owner. And she worked very, very, very hard to put herself years ago through college and began to work at Gateway only to have her job shipped overseas. And so she understands the heartache that a lot of Americans are going through right now, trying to get jobs. And when she looked at me and said, he's for me, and she lived in Kansas at the time, when she lost her job, that's middle America. That's the middle class. And I said, if he's affecting my wife to that degree where she believes in him, then he's speaking to middle class America. He's speaking to the everyday man and woman of this country. And I began to listen to Donald Trump more and more, and he began to speak to me. And one of the things, I had a Cuban mother and I had an African American father, and I grew up in a predominantly black and Hispanic neighborhood on the South Side. And we had Democratic mayors, we had Democratic governors, we had Democratic presidents, and they did absolutely nothing. It's the most dangerous city in this country. I love the city of Chicago. It will always be in my blood, even though I've been a resident of Las Vegas, Nevada for 25 years. I love Chicago. It will always be my hometown. This is my second home. And I remember being scared going to school there. I remember being scared coming home from school, going to work. It's a shame how many young African-American lives that people that I know and people that I see every day on TV, and this has been going on for decades there. The inner cities have been decimated around the country, and no more so than Chicago. And as Donald Trump said, what have the Democrats done for you? They've done absolutely nothing. And he began to speak to me, and I began to listen to him because, to me, everything comes down to business in some way. And if you don't have any business in your community, if your community is not economically progressive, if it's not doing well, then your neighborhood will turn into a slum. It will turn into a ghetto, and you will become dependent on the government to take care of you. And we created decades of dependency in some inner cities. And this president is talking about putting people back to work, bringing jobs to work, giving parents the choice to send their kids to certain schools, charter schools, and elsewhere. And if you live in these inner cities, you know that these schools, these public schools, are nothing more than warehouses. They are failed experiments. They're overcrowded. My mother was a teacher for 20 years plus, South Shore High School in the city of Chicago. And, schools are warehouses. And, the kids get very little one-on-one attention from the teachers because they just don't have the time and they're overcrowded. And so charter schools and individual schools are a good idea for parents to have a choice to send their kids to what schools they want to go to. So and I think KT McFarland was a wonderful choice, education secretary. But I think that, these are the things that spoke to me when he was running for president, and I'm a Trump supporter. I think that if people get out of his way and let him do his job and don't oppose him, which they've been doing from day one, they're going to try and do everything, I believe, including this recount, to delegitimize his presidency and, make him look like a buffoon. But the man knows what he's doing. He has, in business, brought his business back to life on several times. He is a multi-billionaire. He has successful businesses all over the world. And he showed that you can get knocked down, but you can get back up and be very successful. And I think that the common man, even though he's a billionaire, can relate to the fact that you might lose your job, you might lose your money, you might lose your savings, but it's what you do when you get knocked down. And how do you get back up? And I think Donald Trump has gotten back up in his life, in his personal life and his professional life. And he has reached the highest office in the land and in the world. So Godspeed to him, and I think that he will do a wonderful job. Those are the things that are very important to me. I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I will never, ever back away from saying that. That's very important. I'm not politically correct whatsoever. So my wife always says, you speak too much the truth. Sometimes you hurt people's feelings, even mine. And I say, well, that's the way I was raised. My dad was in the military. He was a military police officer for 20 years plus, and he was a disciplinarian. He brought the military home. That's the way he ran his family. So, lying and all those things were out of the question. It's not that we didn't, but you got disciplined for it. And God came first in our family. God and family were the two most, and country and family were the most important things to my dad. And that's how he raised us. So they're the most important things to me. God, my family, and my country is what matters to me. And I will always speak the truth as I see it and speak the truth, what's going on and how I really feel in my heart. You will never get a politically correct answer from me or statement. I believe that this country is going away from God. And I think that Donald Trump is a Christian man. I think God would not allow our country to continue to go down the same path that it was going. I think that God put Donald Trump in the presidency, and I think he's going to do big things. He's going to make this country great again. This country was blessed to us from God. Make no mistake about it. God put us here, and this is the greatest country on earth because we've been blessed by God. But if you go away from Him, then your country will certainly be said to be doomed, because God has to come first in your life. God has to come first, in this country. And I think the fact that children are not allowed to pray in school anymore, you can't talk about God in public places anymore. Well, there is no such thing. Every place is God's place. Every home is God's home. It's not just church, it's school, it's everywhere. Without Him, none of us will wake up in the morning or be blessed. So God definitely comes first. And I think that we've gone too far away from Him in our social lives and in every way, shape, or form. I believe that, abortion and all these things that, we're allowing to have, even, late-term abortions and certain things, I totally disagree with. And when Donald Trump said that's a shame, when he looked at Hillary Clinton and said that that's wrong, and she is a supporter of late-term abortions, I just feel like that's disgusting. And I think he's going to make sure that we have Supreme Court judges that are nominated that are going to make sure that, abortion laws are tightened and some of the things that are going on. I even agree with him as far as burning our flag. Listen, that's the United States of American flag. And let me tell you something. Go to some of these other countries. Go to Cuba and some of these other countries, and let me see. When you come back here and you see that flag flying, trust me, you get down on your knees and you kiss the ground and you look up at that flag and you're so happy to be back in America. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. I love this country. This country comes first to me. The American people come first. And I will always give you that perspective. That's the perspective I will always come at you with. I'm so blessed once again to have this opportunity. The great Rolando LaRosse, the owner of the Las Vegas Tribune, the host of Face the Tribune with Rolando LaRosse from 12 to 1, has given me this opportunity. I will be with you Monday through Friday from 1 to 1:30 Pacific time, sometimes to 2 o'clock Pacific time, time permitting. And I will come with you Monday through Friday every day. If you'd like to call in during the show, the number is 702-983-0711. 702-983-0711. But you have to call in and make sure it's Pacific time from 1 to 1:30. And if you want to talk to me or Rolando, from 12 to 1 Pacific time, 702-983-0711. That is Pacific time, 12 to 1. And then my show, Conservative American with Chris Garcia, is from 1 to 1:30 Pacific time, 702-983-0711. And you can talk to us live on the air. I want to thank you so much. I hope that you learned a little bit about myself. And once again, I feel so blessed to have this opportunity. And I hope that you listen. We live stream on the Radio Tribune every day from 12 to 1:30, and CN puts us on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to listen, you can watch our shows later on YouTube. Just Google Face the Tribune with Rolando LaRosse or the Conservative American with Chris Garcia, and you can watch our shows 24/7. Que tenga buen dia. God bless America. God bless our troops, and God bless Donald Trump. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.